Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018 Career Mode, and it's episode number 23, and we're back. It's been a little while. It's been since the beginning of the month. I went through a change to the channel, where I have games that are going to frequent a bit more often and frequent a bit less. All games still here, just some more often, some less. This is one of the ones
to focus entirely
that
on the
went
race,
less.
but we should put a bit of time aside to run the qualifying sim program. Try to run it before the end of FP3 if you can.
Part of that had to do with a little bit of frustration. I got a new wheel, Thrustmaster T150, and it's amazing. But it's also not the game. This is not a forgiving game to learn that on. You need a lot of time with these wheels to really get the benefit of them. Right now, I am at the worst track imaginable to try to get used to this wheel. Monaco on here is such a challenge, and reading some forums not so long ago, I've discovered that the Williams, which is what I'm driving, in particular, is extremely difficult to drive in the game, period, which it had a reputation for that in real life as well this past year. So I've got the most difficult drive car on the most difficult to drive setup when you're not used to it, and if you followed my career, we're behind in aero. We have the worst aero package of any team, by far. So, all of that contributes to I'm overwhelmed. I am massively overwhelmed.
We'll give back the two most worn sets, so we may as well get the most out of them while we can. They won't be available for the rest of the weekend, though, so don't run too hard on anything you might need later on.
To keep this series alive, because I nearly let it go as I was feeling overwhelmed. To keep this series alive, I've made one sacrifice already, and feel like that wasn't even enough. I had been steadily improving the AI every time I scored points. I was up to a 91, and then with the wheel, it was beyond where I am now. So I went ahead and accepted a 10-point deduction, A, to my Gaming Decathlon score, but B, to the AI. So I'm back down to 81, trying to make things more manageable. And then what do? I enter, well, like I said, Monaco. So you can see from here, the track acclimatization is the only program that I've managed to successfully complete. That took me 4 tries? Yeah, 4. 4 laps before I even completed that program. The race strategy, the fuel management, I completely failed. The ERS, I completely failed. It shows that it was available now, but that's because I was in the last practice session. I'm almost out of time on this one.
Our fastest lap is a 1 minute 16.8.
1 minute 16.8 is the fastest that I have been. That was just the last lap that I completed. Race strategy, all 5 laps, you can see there, I am well beyond the expected time. Now, part of the reason why the expected time is what it is that the car itself, comparatively, is actually now midfield. We'll get to that in a second. But we had 2 new upgrades that are both aero and should help, but we still have the worst aero package as of right now. Come 2 races from now, we'll finally climb out of that cellar and get something a little more out of it, but for now, it's still a struggle, and because it's Monaco, it's out of my hands. The 60 points that I have now is all that I'm going to get. So you can see that I'm over on time, but I am getting faster. Okay, I was 6 seconds a lap from the get-go, the first finish lap that I had. I got that down to 4 seconds a lap slower. And then I got that to 3 seconds a lap slower, then to about 2.5. And then that last lap was only about 1.5 seconds off the pace. But you can see the penultimate lap, lap 4 there, I let Vettel go past me, and so I lost about a second and a half as he went around. I knew I was off the pace anyway, so I went for
is
it.
all about weight transfer. When you brake, the center of mass moves forward. When you accelerate, it moves rearward. And when you turn, it is pushed to the outside of the car. More load on each tire equals more grip. So make sure you're smooth with the controls to prevent the weight transfer from becoming too violent.
That's the problem with Monaco, is it's so violent. It's hard to not have that movement be violent. I'm going to run through wings like crazy. Hopefully I can avoid DNFs, but I strongly feel that I will likely end up with a DNF. I'm going to go ahead and speed through that last minute 40 here. Anyway, like I said, that penultimate lap was Vettel, so I let him
Quick look
get
at the classification at the end of the session then.
It's
Here are the
rocking
top
up to
three.
10th.
Vettel, Raikkonen and Valtteri Bottas. That concludes an interesting practice session. Let's hope for more excitement as the weekend unfolds.
There you can see I'm now within 1.8 of Brendan Hartley, but I'm still well off the pace. Hamilton all the way down in 16th. Mercedes is not as strong as it was. We're going to take a look at that comparison. But I am going to skip FP3. There's only so much practice I can get, only so much I can do. I flat out just going to be slower than everyone else. And I'm going to race for survival and get what I can out of it. Now that I'm back to 81, I have just two flashbacks available for me. I'm not getting a lot of R&D points in this race because of it, and that really sucks. That holds me back a bit, but this was already my weakest race. So before we jump in and skip to qualifying, but I will enter FP3 just for the sake of picking up a few points and not skip it entirely. We're going to look at that progress history, and you can see here Toro Rosso has improved but was well behind. We had recently passed Sauber and they have not improved, and I had recently caught Force India, who improved, but our improvement you can see was a major upgrade, and we improved a lot more. We also passed McLaren, so we have officially made it into the mid-pack and are in amongst it. However, that progress, which we have 2 new upgrades on the way, both major, both due 2 races from now in France, so Canada in between. And from the looks of it, we are due to pass Haas, of course, unless they make upgrades of their own. But when we look at the performance itself, we can see just how strong we are in the chassis department. The aero and powertrain are still lagging behind quite a bit. And when you look at those individual departments, we look at the powertrain, and there on the right-hand side, we are level with Sauber, and otherwise we're the weakest on the grid. In the aero department, if you look at the lighter shade of blue, we are still well behind Toro Rosso. Those 2 major upgrades coming will get us finally into the mix there with Toro Rosso, Force India, and McLaren. But that's still 2 races away, and they're likely to have upgrades of their own. But this will finally get us near in amongst it. But we're still quite a ways off in the aero department. Plus, with the car itself having that reputation of being difficult to drive, I'm pretty well doomed right now. It's the chassis that really has us up there. There's only a handful of upgrades left, and we are still well clear of Ferrari and the entire grid in the chassis department. So we have a very, very nice chassis. We have a very, very lightweight car. But that's all we have right now. And that alone has us in the midfield. So chassis really, really took off. My strategy for the long game really pays off. But it's really caused me a bit of suffering here early in season number 2. It benefited us as we went through season 1, and we had a decent amount of success. But as I got better, as I scored points, as the AI difficulty level increased, now it's just hit that point where the powertrain and aero have suffered so much that we are really, really behind everyone. Alright, well, like I said, I'm going to continue to improve the aero. so I can get there. I would say 2 races from now will be where I finally start to feel that difference, feel that improvement in the car as the aero gets to a tolerable level. But meanwhile, the powertrain's going to just drag further and further behind. One more time looking at that powertrain department, I have no upgrades at all. But as is my tactic, the department efficiency and department quality is where I go first. And I've still got a long ways to go. We still have 2 of the more expensive efficiency upgrades to make, 1,600 points. And there's a decent chance that this is actually what I'm looking for next. But that arrow's still not quite far enough along, so I might have to still commit to the arrow because I'm not getting points this race weekend. I've earned less than 200 so far as I head into qualifying. And here's my expectations for this race. I'm going to be dead last in qualifying, so I'm going to go ahead and take parts again, take the grid penalties, and then start in dead last and finish the race in dead last because I will lose time right off the get-go, but just do what I can to survive. So with that, I'm going to kind of skip FP3, but I'm going to at least enter it so that I quickly earn points. At least I get a little bit out of it, as this is a weekend where I am starving myself in the R&D department. But then we're going to skip right into qualifying. I will do what I can, which is not much. So with that, we'll skip to qualifying.
Interesting practice session there then. Let's remind ourselves of the top
Raikkonen,
3.
Hamilton,
Who are Raikkonen, Hamilton and Nico Hulkenberg.
If you
Thank
looked
you for joining us
closely
for free practice today. We'll be
beyond the
back with
midfield,
more Formula 1 action very shortly.
The Ferrari is well clear of Mercedes right now as best car, with Red Bull still quite a ways behind in 3rd, and Renault not that far behind Red Bull in 4th. It is then the Haas and us that are relatively close together. This qualifying is huge for everyone else. For me, it'll be more about survival, and that's my weak point right there with the wheel. Lowes hairpin is so difficult on this wheel because you're pulling with everything you've got, and then you've got to totally reverse the wheel back the other way, and I'm having a hard time getting that timed right, and I lose right about a second in there every lap. The rest of the lap I'm getting pretty close to being competitive now, but I'm losing right about a second just right in there. And so many times I've had some oversteer that has put me into that wall and lost me my wing. Or I've been super slow in trying to not do that. But we're just about to get to it. Let's check our messages. Upcoming session, a clean race. Good luck to me with that. But I should not damage any others. I just don't know if I'll make it to the end of this race. Last season on the gamepad, I did make it to the end of the race, and I wasn't lapped ever. So I was off the pace, and I was very much alone in the back in 20th. But I didn't have a bad race. I actually felt pretty darn good about it in the end. But through practice, as slow as I am, as far off the pace as I am behind everyone, I'm looking for this to get pretty ugly. But we'll see if I can keep it fairly clean, just at my pace.
Now then, Anthony Davis.
Well, let's get to it because this is going to be damaging. And my hope is to just go with 0 cuts through this. I did get a decent setup, but it's a setup that is absolutely 100% catered towards getting around this track cleanly and not for speed. But, I mean, come on. It's Monaco. You're not going to get around here with much pace anyway.
All set. Everyone clear? Car to track.
Right, so I will take a little bit of a warm-up lap here, but we'll run our 1 lap, and I'm going to be good with 1 lap. I'm going to just try to get 1 clean lap here. I know I'm going to be slowest. So we come out behind the Red Bull. Hopefully there's a little space behind me. No, there's not. There's a Toro Rosso just behind me. I feel like I'm going to try to let them go. This is such a difficult pit exit, but I'm going to let him go. Come on, come on. There you go. It's Hartley. He's the next slowest besides myself. But as much as it would be fine to ruin his lap, I don't want to deal with him on my gearbox pushing me. Okay, now here's that spot that I was talking about. Full hand over hand, going around, coming back out. You can see how slow I am getting back on the gas, because when I get on the gas too quickly, I'm still coming out of the steering. I'm still returning the wheel to that upright position. Whoa! Oh, come on. Really? Before I even get to my first lap, I've already damaged my wing.
Be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage.
I haven't been getting any oversteer or understeer. It's just been pure mistakes. But there, that time, I did, and now I can't make that corner as a result. That was the right pace. But with that damage to the wing being enough, I'm having trouble turning at the pace that I should be at. So I'm going to be much slower than 1.5 seconds. But I'm not looking to make an extra run here. Yeah, so we're way off the pace now. This is just an ugly mess, but you'll see what we're preparing for with the race. Don't want to invalidate this lap, so because I want to at least have a valid lap for the sake of picking up some points in the R&D department. So I will finish this off, and then we'll just skip back to the garage and call it good, even though I'm way more than a couple seconds off the pace. And I just ruined somebody's lap. I'd already ruined it a while ago, though. No point using DRS. Woo! That was a close call. I was trying to stay tight to the wall so that Alonso could get by. Alright, well, that's a lap. That's an ugly mess of a lap. Alright. Like I said, there's no point doing more laps. I'm not going to get...
1:18.7.
I'm not going to do well. Yeah. It's not the slowest lap I've run either. I've run a 1:20. I've run a 1:19. But the 1:16s... 1:16, 1:15 is the fastest I've been, so you can see just how far off the pace I am. So I'm just gonna let it run its course, and we'll at least see who gets knocked out along with me. Sorokin looks like he might make it out. Might. It's gonna be close. Ricardo? Is Ricardo eliminated? Or did he get an extra lap in? Was he on track? I don't think he was. Ricardo is out. He tried to get through on Ultrasofts and did not make it. So Ericsson, Ricardo, Hartley, Gasly are out. My teammate at least moves on. I know I'm going to be last. I know I'm going to lose my rivalry races this time. So I might as well have my teammate earn points for the first time. The Ferraris are fastest, with the Mercedes next. Verstappen's there in fourth, but Ricardo, nowhere to be seen. It's like he's driving a Renault or something. No, I'm kidding. Renault's not slow. In fact, less than a tenth of a second behind Bottas. There is Hulkenberg, Ricardo's now teammate.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. Your qualifying pace didn't put you at the front of the grid. Will this be a problem tomorrow?
Definitely. But what can I do but make... Oh, Williams, you don't
left
like my
some
rep for
body
that?
work out there on the track. Were you struggling for grip?
No comment. You already gave me negative.
Well, thanks anyway.
Well, why don't you give me some questions that don't destroy my rep or destroy my team's morale? You don't give me an out. I need an out. You know, be diplomatic, but admit the weakness. Drawing with Hartley now, -2 to Sorokin. Luckily it's early in that, but I need a lot of work on this wheel if I'm going to ever get back on top of those rivalries. I do pick up at least 55 points. I will pick up some points in the race, but it is a very, very poor weekend in that department.
Obviously, I expected a better session, but these things happen from time to time.
Okay,
Try
try
to make
for the
up for it
race.
in the race.
Let's go ahead and just jump right. Oh, no. Let's not just jump right on in. We are going to... Wait, what do I want to do? There it is. We're going to switch out the power unit. I'm already going to start from last, and even if I move up a position, that's not going to stop me from finishing in last. So I'm going to go ahead and take 1,000,000 grid penalties and get some fresh parts on the car. So at least I get something from this race. Including another brand new gearbox. Might as well, right? I don't know if there's a limit for the year. There very well could be. Sorry, I left that email open that I would normally have closed before recording here. It's that little ding you're hearing in the background. And then, moments ago, a certain Amazon assistant responded to something I said, but I swear I didn't call out her name.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the Professor. No grid penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Alonso, Perez, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, and Sergei Sorokin. Grosjean, Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, and Sainz, Van Dorn, Hartley, Daniel Ricciardo, and Marcus Ericsson. Gasly, they've taken a grid penalty, and the Professor. And now it's time to head down to the track.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack and just need to stay in one piece.
Alright, I know I'm going to be very slow early on, and my objective for this race is literally to just stay out of the way and keep it as clean as humanly possible. So I'm going to start on Ultra Softs. And then we will try here to see how long the hypers can go. Okay, it looks like they can go 8 laps, so I will try to get them there. The Ultras for 12. Now, my goal is, I know I'm going to have wing damage. I know I'm going to have wing damage. It's a foregone conclusion. You saw my qualifying attempt. My big hope is to not DNF, so I'll save my flashbacks for DNFs, not for wing damage. So if I take wing damage, I take wing damage. If the car becomes undrivable, then I pit. And that puts me laps down, but we'll see if I can't make it to the end of the race alive in one piece and not DNF, because a DNF hurts a lot more in the team's evaluation than finishing last and laps down. I do not need a huge fuel package, so I'm not going to put a bunch of extra fuel in, because I'd actually gladly go slow on low fuel mode and slow my pace down a little bit more, which gives me a little more time to react and hopefully not crash out. So there's the plan. I am going to hang back literally, so I will intentionally go for a slow start. I will hang back. I will give myself space right off the bat. Los hairpin, I need to be prepared for the massive backup that will happen there, because it will close me right back down to the grid. I got to make sure that I don't slam into the back of Hartley or whoever it is that is in front of me as I reach that point in time. If I can get a clean first lap, we'll consider that a minor victory. Alright, well, with that, we're in Monaco, and I am purely in survival mode. I am scared, I'm driving scared, and that is not good. It is not good. You can worry right along with me. Last time, though, it worked out a year ago. But that wasn't on this wheel. Alright, well, with that, Monaco, 5 red lights. Like I said, I wanted to hang back, so there we are, already back. See just how stacked up they are getting in front of me. So that gives me a nice clean getaway. Ooh, already a brush with the wall there for Ericsson. Okay, big backup coming up. Already starting. Not looking to pass here. Not looking to pass. Just try to get through. There's that oversteer through. That's the wheel. That's not the car. Ooh. Do not like getting oversteer there. That's a rare thing with the setup that I have this year. Though it happened a lot last year. Car snapped on me a bit there. Okay. Well, now we've got a little room to work. Goodbye, field. Hello, survival mode. Myself. I think I actually touched the wall there. No damage, though. I'm slow through Rascast sometimes. Sometimes I'm fast. Outside of the field there for a moment. So we made it through the first lap. That was the big objective I had, was surviving the first lap clean lap. We did it. Now I'm essentially time trialing from here on out, trying to get better. There's that oversteer. Cost me a second in every lap. But you can still hear the roar of the engines nearby as everybody else is coming through. And there they are, so I haven't lost that much ground yet. Woo! Oversteer. Saved it. It's got to be the fuel load. The reason why I'm getting that oversteer, because I wasn't getting it in practice, but I was always on a lighter fuel load.
DRS is now enabled. Will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
Yeah, getting a lot of oversteer still, so I gotta be really careful as I pick up the pace over the next couple laps. Once that fuel load comes down a bit, we'll be okay. Speaking of, I need to get my mode turned down here, as I'm sure our ERS is turned up. Whoa! There goes the wing.
Okay, you have wing damage. This will be a major performance impact.
I even took my foot off the gas because I was not in the right position.
Strategy option.
We'll see if it's drivable first. I'm guessing not so much. But I might get myself to that point where I could just drive without a wing. If I could figure out how to do it. Without the downforce. Just the slower pace. And at this point, I'm making it. Car still turns. Not as well. Makes me even slower than I was. So I made it 2 laps without incident. Came on lap 3. There's one area where that's definitely a problem. Oh, that's one area where it's a problem. Okay, it looks like I'm already putting fuel away because of the way I'm driving now. A lot more coasting, so... Yeah, I think I could drive without that wing. We'll see what happens when I take off the rest of it on the other side, but if I can make it then. But for now, we don't need the extra pit stop and more time loss. And that was, what, 3.5 seconds off the pace, off our pace. That's a bit much. See how long we can survive before we get lapped. Maybe that's our next little touch of the wall there. Another second loss there. It's hard enough to make it there with the downforce. Definitely got to start getting used to getting off the gas there, through there. Because at that speed, that is such a tight turn without the downforce, you know it? With this ultra conservative drive, we're doing okay. The AI difficulty level was turned way down not in the 80s, you could actually lead this race. That's not the case, is it? So that's glass like 10% full. Optimism right there. Yes, it is. I'm growing into this car. It's lap 6 now. I haven't hit the wall again since. Oh, come on. Wait, did not want to turn there. Had a little more pace. I got through those hairpin a little better. Off the gas, off the gas. Gotta remember that every lap. But otherwise, I'm finding a little more pace. But there's the leaders coming at me already. Some of them are going to start to pit here pretty dang soon. Marcus Ericsson out of the race. We will not be in last. Oh, there goes the gamepad off the table.
Yellow flag. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
There's Ericsson. Okay, fuel is good. I'm driving conservatively enough. There it is! And there goes the other side of that wing. I got on that gas just too soon.
We're seeing major wing damage.
Oh, now it doesn't want to turn.
Sergey in the pits.
Now it doesn't want to turn. Now I'm debating whether I should pit. It is really hard now. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, we're coming in. We're coming in. We're coming in. Okay. So, we made it to lap 7. I have not used any flashbacks, which is a freaking miracle. And we are in 19th, which is a bloody miracle, even if it has nothing to do with passing anyone. But it's Monaco. There's bound to be cars coming out. We still have not been lapped, but that time is coming very soon. It looks like there's a Ferrari in the lead of the race.
Only one stop to go. One stop left in this strategy.
Cars should drive a bit better now for a while. I mean for a while, because you know what's inevitably going to happen at some point. Don't know which tires I'm on. Pink Hypersofts. Okay, so we're going to have a 2-stopper here with Hypersofts. And that is okay by me. We should be faster now if we can keep it in one piece. And I haven't been lapped yet, which is also a bloody miracle. I'm okay with battery charge being high. I do not need to use that ERS. I'm okay keeping that on medium and just running as clean of a race as I can, because I'm not racing anyone but the clock. I am going to get blue flag soon, though. There's 3 cars coming behind me! Oh, come on.
Okay, box, box, box. We're adjusting the strap.
I'm going to use it. First flashback. That is these Hypersofts. First lap out. Still being a little bit cold. And we'll go from right here.
Blue flag.
Do I have a blue flag yet? I don't think I do. Ooh. Hello, wall. Hello, other wall. I just Just wanted to let you know that I'm here. And I'm ready for you. Okay, Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari. How are we approaching pit window when I just pit?
Our gap to the car in front is 39.9 seconds.
So 40 seconds behind. And, oh, there goes the blue flag. I'm gonna let these guys go here in, right here. Exit.
Blue flag conditions create a gap and
Ooh, it's Vettel in third. It is Raikkonen in the race lead. I didn't quite catch which Mercedes that was. We'll try to get a glimpse here. Hamilton. Hamilton in P2. And they are very much 1, 2, 3. And now I have another blue flag. I will wait till the front stretch to get out of the way on this one.
Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.
Okay, there's Bottas going by. Now I've got probably Verstappen next.
Your MFD for a new strategy option.
Let's see, where can I let him get by? There we go. Now I hopefully will have a gap for a while here to the next one, but I know the Renault has really closed in on quality to the Red Bull, so they might not be that far back.
Push, push. Erect. Okay, gap ahead is 50.0 seconds.
Race leader Raikkonen just sets a new fastest lap. I've made it halfway through this race. I have one flashback remaining, and it wasn't even a DNF point, but it was... You want me to box this lap? A little early for that. I'm not ready to come in this lap. These tires are still fresh. And I've still got a little bit of space here before the midfield comes up on me. There goes the second one. I was too tight to the inside. I really should have taken a normal line there. So, here we go. Last flashback. And there it is. That was way too tight to the inside, so that when I came out of there, I do not want to box this lap. It's too soon. I just pit a little while ago. And there's still 9 laps left. I would like to see where we're at on things. Fuel's certainly good. Okay, so I've got a little bit of damage to the front left side of the wing. But yeah, tire wear. Tire wear is low.
Use some of this charge.
Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag. Dress it on the straight. Right here.
Blue flag.
Whole team of cars coming by. One more coming by.
You're both going to have to let the car behind pass. When he goes through, try to use it as an opportunity to gain a position. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
Now, I gotta remember, I'm a lap down. So it's lap 13. 7 laps to go after this. This actually might not be a bad place to pit. It might. Oh, I got a blue flag already. Okay, there's Ricardo, who's up into the points. Remember, he started in P18. So I think I will pit this lap. I will pit this lap. Whoa! Come on.
Damage to your wing, damage to your
Apparently
wing.
I was letting my
Suggest
teammate
box
go
to
on
change
purpose.
it. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Yes, I'm going to pit this lap. I had somebody to my inside. Ooh, more than one. More than 2. 3 cars. It's really hard to just let everyone go by, which is why I was looking at it.
Copy.
Oh, really? Oh, I got bumped trying to come around Rascast to look for the pits. Ugh, and there goes the last of the cars go by, so that was Hartley who just passed me.
Complete, go now.
Let go of the clutch too early, apparently.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
Yeah, I've got to be really careful to not give myself a problem here as tires are cold. So I'm going to take it extra easy here on this lap. I have nothing to lose. I'm already a full lap down from the entire field. Luckily I have a little bit of room to work, to run here with just... Oh, do not take yourself out on the first lap. Come on! Come on, DG. I was too far to the inside. I was also worried about those cold tires, so... Ooh, I see a Mercedes running all by himself. I did not see any Ferraris around there. As Hamilton moved into the race lead and pulled away. He did a good job getting on pole, but it was Raikkonen.
Burn some of this energy.
It was Raikkonen who led. Last we saw. Okay, so I'm on lap 15. Race leader on lap 16. Did I just about start catching up to someone? Please tell me someone has a problem. It would be amazing if I could inherit another position. There is a Force India. As I have a little brush with the wall there. There's a Force India not far in front of me. No. Okay, that was actually Bottas that I saw. It is still Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari at the front of the grid. Ooh. A little squirrely there. Caught it, saved it though. I think it's a miracle I have not DNF. It would be phenomenal though if somebody else would DNF so that I could get 18th, which would actually meet the team requirements. Just one car out of this race so far though. Come the blue flags again.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Ooh, terrible time that. It was way too far off the apex there. And, saved it. Just about anyway. I did touch left rear on the wall. Luckily, no damage. Alright, so I'm on 17. They just started 19. I'm about to get blue flagged again, so I will have one more lap to complete after this, and that should do it. And I might make it with a flashback to spare, if I can get to the end of the race with that, but those blue flags, there they go. So we will get out of the way here in just a moment. To the inside.
Flag, blue flag.
And Raikkonen goes on by. And with that, I am 2 laps down. From that sense, it's a bloody disaster. But the fact that I'm even making it to the end of this race and only using one flashback, or have I used both?
Create a gap and let the car behind through.
Sorry, Hamilton. That just cost you any chance you had of
Recommend you box for a new
getting
one.
back into this race. But I could check up Vettel for a bit. There's Bottas as well. He's caught up. And here is Verstappen as well. And I've got another blue flag. I'll have to let him go next chance I get. There we go. Not the easiest way for Verstappen to get by, but I did let him get by. Let's see just how much I lose there every time. Remaining? Yeah, I didn't get your radio message. I was in the tunnel. And there you go. Race winner. Kimi Raikkonen. Should be Hamilton P2. Vettel P3. Bottas P4, and Verstappen P5.
Bad luck. It just wasn't our day today.
19th. Could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. I did manage to finish the race, and for that, I am grateful.
Ferrari to take the victory today.
That's also all of the time that I have. I'll do a quick check-in to see where everyone has finished. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and call that a day. It's going to get to that result as I'm over on time.
Out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the
Podium.
world, the prancing
What we
horse
expected,
flags are
as we just saw them go by.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings.
Perez
Well, the lead at the top has
takes
come down
6th
after
place,
a poor
Alonso
result for our
7th,
points
Hulkenberg,
leader.
Grosjean,
Moving on to the
and
driver
Ricciardo.
of the day then.
Sorokin
Anthony
stays
Davidson.
at 11th,
Who
so
would
no
you go for?
change.
I think I'm going to give it
That
to
last
Daniel
lap around.
Ricciardo. He's come through the field so well today, you know. Well deserved.
On to the constructors then. We saw a dip in
And
form
it is
from the
Ocon who had
championship
2
leaders
stops
today.
and was definitely
Their
further
lead has
back.
taken a significant blow. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us and goodbye until the next race.
Raikkonen overtakes his teammate for 2nd in the championship. I still remain the head of the group at the bottom with just 1 point. Grosjean on 4, Van Dorn 6, and Alonso, who has not really been involved in scoring at all, now on 7 after a pretty solid race for him. In the constructors, we remain on just 1 point in 9th place, ahead of Toro Rosso. Sauber sitting on 10. McLaren jumps them to get to 7th in the constructors with 13 points. Haas just 18, as 5 teams have consistently grabbed the bulk of the points so far this season. Mercedes 20 points ahead of Ferrari right now. That gap has closed a bit. Red Bull quite a bit further back, with Renault just 18 points behind them, and Force India only 10 points further back. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.